Okay, so let's talk about something I think everyone feels at some point. You know exactly what you want, right? Maybe it's a big change, a new habit, whatever. But then you just don't do it. Or you start, and then somehow you find yourself back at square one. It's like hitting a wall. Why does that happen? Why do we sabotage ourselves even when we really, really want to grow?
That feeling, that internal friction, it's so common. And it's exactly what we're diving into today. We've been looking at these sources that frame it as 4 harsh truths about the game of life.
Harsh truths. Sounds intense.
They are a bit bracing, yeah. But they're not meant to be discouraging. They're more like mirrors. They show us the hidden psychological reasons we get stuck.
Gotcha. So our mission here is to kind of map out those reasons, to understand the why behind that self-sabotage.
Exactly. We want to help you pinpoint the root causes. We're looking at 4 big ones. How tied we are to our old identity, sort of invisible rules we live by, those repeating patterns from our past, and this big myth about money and safety.
Okay. So if you understand what's holding you back.
Then you can actually start dealing with it, right? Instead of just wrestling with the symptoms. Let's jump into that first truth. It's a big one.
All right. Truth number 1. It says, you are more committed to your current identity than you are to your potential growth. Oof. That one. Yeah, that hits hard.
It really does. Because we tell ourselves we want the change, the growth, the new me. But subconsciously, we're incredibly loyal to the old me. Even if the old me is, kind of miserable or stuck.
It's the familiarity, isn't it? The devil you know?
Precisely. The source puts it starkly.
Yeah.
The new you will cost you the old version of you.
Yeah.
And that cost isn't just like giving up pizza. It's grieving the person you always thought you were.
Grieving yourself. Wow.
Yeah. And most people, without even realizing it, choose that known pain, that familiar discomfort, over the sheer unknown of becoming someone different.
But why is that pull so strong? Why does stepping into something better feel dangerous?
Oh, well, that's where the brain science is fascinating. Yeah. It's partly neurological. Your brain is fundamentally wired for efficiency, survival, right? Staying the same is predictable. It knows the patterns. It's metabolically inexpensive. It doesn't cost much energy.
Right. Low effort.
Exactly. Change, on the other hand, building new habits, new ways of thinking, that's cognitively hard. It takes energy, creates new neural pathways. And the brain often interprets that increased energy spend as well as risk, as potentially unsafe.
So that feeling of, oh, I can't do this, that self-sabotage, it's not just weakness, it's my brain trying to save energy.
In a way, yes. It's your biological operating system trying to run efficiently. It's shouting, stick to the script, this new stuff is expensive.
Okay, that reframes it a bit.
Think about that analogy the source uses. A snake has to shed its old skin to grow. If it doesn't, it literally suffocates.
Right.
That feeling of resistance, of self-sabotage, that's often the new potential self trying to break out of that old, tight, restrictive skin. But the old identity holds on tight.
And those identities, things like being the people pleaser or the fixer.
Yes, or the strong one, the good kid, even the victim or the underdog. These roles become so ingrained.
They feel safe, even if they're limiting, like a comfortable cage.
Absolutely. And for someone whose identity is built on, say, always being the responsible one, making a change that requires them to set boundaries or, God forbid, disappoint someone.
Yeah.
That feels like self-betrayal. It can trigger what feels like an ego death. And that feels terrifyingly real, like actual death to the nervous system.
So the shift only happens when
the loyalty to who you're becoming finally gets stronger than the loyalty to who you've always been. It's a profound internal shift. And, that struggle with identity, it flows so naturally into this second truth. We are often living our lives according to rules we never actually agreed to.
invisible rules, like a straitjacket we don't even see.
Kind of, yeah. Think about all the shoulds and shouldn'ts that dictate how we act, what we wear, what we say, how we feel.
Where do they all come from? It feels like a lot.
Oh, it is. They come from everywhere. Our parents, our family systems, school, society, culture, religion. And the sources point out something really interesting. We often follow these rules laid down by people, sometimes generations ago, who were, frankly, no smarter than us.
Huh. Right, like some social norm started by someone in the 1600s that just stuck.
Exactly. It might have made sense back then, maybe, but now it's just this invisible script we follow without questioning. Think about language even.
How so?
Like a certain word. Fundamentally, it's just a sound, vibrations in the air, right? But our reaction to it, the emotional charge, That's driven entirely by an unchosen, inherited rule about what that sound means.
That's a really good point. We don't choose the meaning, we just inherit the reaction.
And here's the kicker. Most of these deep-seated rules, the really potent ones, about our worth, about safety, about how the world works, they got installed before we were 10 years old.
Before 10. Wow. So we were just like downloading.
Pretty much. Our critical thinking wasn't fully developed. So you end up with adults navigating complex adult problems using, essentially, a child's mental programming.
A program based on pleasing others, avoiding trouble.
Right. Simple binaries. Good, bad, right, wrong, safe, unsafe. Which leads to this constant low-level anxiety for so many people.
That fear of messing up, of getting judged.
Yes. It's often not about the current situation. It's an echo of those childhood fears, those unhealed wounds around being punished or disapproved of. It can get extreme.
How extreme?
The sources mention people who are so terrified of breaking rules that they actually make up extra rules for themselves, rules that don't even exist externally, just to create this buffer zone to guarantee they won't get in trouble.
Wow. Creating your own prison just to feel safe.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it happens. So the way out isn't just identifying the rules.
It's questioning them, deciding if they actually serve you now.
Precisely. These aren't universal truths carved in stone. They're inherited limitations. Real freedom comes not just from rebelling, but from consciously rewriting your internal rulebook so it aligns with who you authentically are today as an adult.
Choosing your own rules, not just following the old map.
Exactly. Does this map still lead where you want to go, or just where someone else told you to stop?
Okay, so that internal programming, those childhood rules, that leads us right into the third truth, isn't it? And this one might be the toughest.
It often is, yeah. The idea is you will keep attracting into your life what you have not healed yet.
Meaning, if I keep facing the same problem over and over again, like the same kind of bad relationship, the same issue at work.
The perspective here is that it's not just bad luck. It's the universe, or maybe just your own subconscious, presenting the same circumstances again and again, trying to get your attention. It's an opportunity to finally learn the lesson, to heal the underlying issue.
Okay, that shifts things. It's not punishment, it's a prompt.
Kind of. The sources use that powerful example of a coaching client. She kept finding herself in relationships with men who were emotionally unavailable, distant.
The classic, same person, different face.
Exactly. And when they dug into it, she realized these men mirrored how her father had been with her as a child. Unavailable, conditional.
Ah. So that pattern created a belief inside her.
Right, a false core belief. Something like, I'm not worthy of consistent love, or I have to earn affection, or love equals distance. And remember, that's a belief formed in childhood. It feels true, but it's not an absolute truth about her worth.
But that belief then acts like a magnet.
In a way, yes. Your internal state, your expectations, your energy, it tends to draw in situations that confirm that belief. The universe, or life, keeps bringing you chances to see the belief isn't true, but you have to heal the original wound first.
And trauma, it's not always about one big event, is it?
No, not at all. That's a key point. Trauma doesn't always show up as a clear, vivid memory you can point to. Often it shows up in your life as a pattern.
A pattern. Like how I react under stress. Or the kinds of jobs I keep quitting.
Exactly. The way you sabotage success, the type of partner you consistently choose, how you handle conflict, lashing out, shutting down, people-pleasing, that is the trauma manifesting. Your subconscious isn't logical, it's repetitive.
It likes what's familiar, even if it's painful.
Yes. It will choose familiar pain over unfamiliar peace almost every time, because familiar feels predictable, safer in a weird way, until you consciously decide to heal.
So if the pattern is the clue, how do you figure out the wound underneath?
Often it's through our interactions. Those people who really trigger us, the ones who bring up intense fear or anger or shame.
Yeah, the difficult people.
The reframe here is that they aren't triggers so much as teachers. They aren't causing the wound. They're shining a spotlight on the parts of you that are still unhealed. They're showing you where the work needs to be done.
So blaming them or trying to change them is pointless.
It doesn't break the pattern, no. The only way to break the pattern is to repair the version of you that resonates with it. You have to heal that core wound, rewrite that false belief. It's internal work. Only you can do it.
That focus on the internal work, that makes perfect sense leading into the final truth. Because this one tackles probably the biggest external thing we chase. Money. The fourth truth. Money will not make you feel safe or in control.
Yeah, this one challenges a pretty fundamental societal belief, doesn't it?
Totally. We're told constantly, get the money, then you'll be secure.
But the insight here is about misattributing the solution. Money's great. It solves money problems. It pays the rent, buys the groceries, fixes the car.
Right, practical stuff.
But it cannot solve emotional or psychological problems.
Yeah.
What most people are actually chasing when they aim for a certain income or net worth isn't just the money itself.
What are they chasing then?
They're chasing the feeling they associate with having that money. Usually it's a feeling of safety or control or maybe worthiness.
And where does that deep need for safety usually come from?
Very often it traces back to childhood. Maybe an unstable household, financial insecurity growing up, parents who couldn't always provide, or maybe love and safety felt conditional tied to achievement or behavior.
So the young brain makes a connection. Money equals predictability, money equals safety.
Exactly. Seems like a logical fix. If I just become a millionaire, then everything will be okay, then I'll finally feel secure.
But it's an illusion.
It often is. Because the feeling of safety isn't actually in the bank account. You can have millions and still feel deeply anxious, insecure, out of control. The source uses that great analogy. If you're miserable driving a Toyota, you're probably still going to be miserable driving a Ferrari.
Right. Maybe slightly more comfortable misery, but still misery.
The external circumstances change, the external stressors might lessen, but that internal feeling of unease, if it's rooted in something deeper, the money doesn't touch it. You park that Ferrari in the big garage, the door closes, and you're still left with yourself and that same old feeling.
Okay, so if money isn't the answer to feeling safe, what is? Where does real safety come from?
Real, lasting safety, according to these insights, comes from self-trust, not net worth.
Self-trust, meaning?
Meaning the deep inner knowing that whatever happens externally, challenges, setbacks, chaos, you can handle it. You trust your ability to figure things out, to adapt, to learn, to survive, to maybe even thrive. That's safety. It's internal resilience.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do you build that? Especially if you've spent your life looking for external validation or security.
It's built incrementally, brick by brick, through consistency with yourself.
Like keeping promises to yourself.
Exactly. It's about learning to rely on you. It's about facing challenges and seeing that you can grow from them. And crucially, it's about following through when you tell yourself you're going to do something, no matter how small.
Like actually getting up when the alarm goes off.
Yes. Or meditating for 5 minutes like you planned. Or making that phone call you've been dreading. Each time you follow through, you send a message to your subconscious. Hey, I'm reliable. I have my own back.
So you become the source of your own safety.
That's the core idea.
Okay.
You are the ultimate solution to your deepest needs for safety and control. It can't be outsourced to a bank account or anything else. #outro.
Wow. Okay, so pulling this all together, these four truths are really interconnected, aren't they?
Absolutely.
We're stuck because we're loyal to an old identity that feels safe but isn't serving us. We're following invisible, inherited rules that keep us in that old identities box.
Right.
We keep attracting situations that trigger the unhealed wounds that created that identity and those rules.
Yeah, the patterns.
And we mistakenly think external things like money will fix the internal lack of safety that comes from all of that.
You nailed it. They all point back inwards. Every single barrier ultimately comes down to an internal alignment issue, a mismatch between who we are deep down and the stories, rules, and beliefs we're operating under.
So the real path to growth, to creating the life we say we want, it's all about that internal work. Healing the past, questioning the rules, choosing a new identity.
It requires, like we said, intentionally betraying that old self, that old way of being. It's about choosing who you want to become over who you've always been told you are.
Okay. So if we accept that growth means shedding that old skin, and real safety comes from building self-trust, the work isn't theoretical, it's immediate.
It has to be, right? So maybe the question to leave everyone with is this, thinking about everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
If transformation truly starts when your loyalty shifts from who you were to who you are becoming, what's the one specific inherited rule or piece of that old identity story that you need to consciously challenge starting today?
Just one thing.
Just one thing. What's the first step you can take to question that old programming and start building that foundation of real internal self-trust? The map's there, but you have to decide to take that first step onto the new path.